Okay, here we go. Gonna try and do a car video. So there will be patches of silence like that. Or I might cut them out. Where I'm focused on driving more than talking. Because it's more important I get where I'm going safely. This is going to be the beginning of a book review. Not an entire book review right now because I've only read 4-ish chapters, but it's for the new BROTHERBAND Chronicles book by John Flanagan. If you haven't read his Ranger's Apprentice series, I highly recommend. One of my favorite series. BROTHERBAND is also really, really good. And so there's 11 books in Rangers. Hold up. So there's 11 books in Ranger's Apprentice. There were 8 for BROTHERBAND. There are now 9. The 9th is the most recent. There's also the early years for Ranger's Apprentice. I think there's only 2 of those. And then there's the Royal Ranger, which I think is 4 books by now. So the most recent BROTHERBAND Chronicles book, Book 9, The Stern Chase, I think is the name, just came out. And it actually came out October 23rd, 24th, something like that. And I was excited to read it. I've been rereading Rangers right now, so excited to. And then I was going to reread BROTHERBAND, and then eventually reread. Well, not reread, but just read the 9th. But then I don't know. Other things got in the way, and now I'm just going to read the 9th. And then I'll go back and finish rereading all the other stuff. Kind of do that once a year, though, now I think about it. Kind of like Lord of the Rings. And this is spoilers. Spoilers. So in the synopsis for... Now, I don't usually read the synopsis for books, but I was really excited for this one, and so I read like the little snippet that was made available on Amazon, as well as reading the synopsis. And one of the things it says in the synopsis is the Herons get ready to celebrate 2 of their own. And based on things in previous books of BROTHERBAND, I was thinking, oh, cool, finally Thorn and Hal's mom, Karina, are going to get married. Like, this will be cool. It'll be like Eric's Ransom, where you got Halt's wedding at the beginning of it. So that's what I was thinking it was going to be. Imagine my surprise when the wedding that is taking place is between Ingvar and Lydia. Which really came out of left field to me. Based on all the previous books, never would have thought that would happen. Because the vibe I get from the 8 books that come before is that Ingvar's like the older brother. At least that's how Lydia views him. He might view Lydia differently, but that's kind of the vibe of how I saw coming from Lydia, is that Ingvar's just the older brother. And it literally says multiple times in multiple of the books that she keeps like wondering about Hal and Stig. And so as the reader, you're thinking, well, okay, there we go. Let me clarify something here. I'm not saying I don't like the pairing of Ingvar and Lydia. What I don't like is that it was never set up. It just drops out of the sky, and it's just there. And when it's reading the 9th book, when it's talking about it, there's like 6-7 paragraphs where it feels like it's making up for things that didn't happen in the other books. It's like, oh, over the years, Lydia thought this about Ingvar, and this and that, and this and that, and this and that, and this and that over the years. And I'm like, where were this in the other books? This feels like you're trying to make up for things that didn't happen. And then the funny thing about that section, though, is Lydia's got like 4 or 5 paragraphs about why she likes Ingvar, and then Ingvar's got 1, and it's a really small paragraph. But it just really comes out of left field, and because there was no setup, and so the payoff is not there at all. So there is no payoff because the setup was not there, so there's no payoff. Just a second. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, I have no problem with the pairing of Ingvar and Lydia if it had been set up and hinted at in the other books and everything. But it never was. And so I take issue with it. I do wonder what the author was thinking or deciding. But yeah, there's no. I wonder what the author's reasoning and thoughts are. Like, I'd really like to know, because as far as I can see, it comes out of left field, and I don't get it. I really don't. So there's just some little details in the rest of that chapter that bothered me a little. One more than the other. But the first one is, it mentions like why it wasn't Hal or Stig, sorry. And it says Hal because right now he's not interested in romantic things or whatever. Stig, and this is the weird bit, Stig, it says he'd fallen out of romantic things after the death of his wife in a faraway land. He never got married to the girl who died. Sorry, but I can't remember her name right now. But yeah, they never got married. So that was weird. But then the bigger thing, this kind of bothered me a lot, is later it talked like Eric comes up to Thorn and Hal, and Hal's drinking coffee like normal, but it says Thorn is drinking ale, which doesn't track at all. It does mention in one of the either Scorpion Mountain or the slave traders one. It mentions in one of those that he drinks coffee and he'll only drink ale with water in it, and he'll only do that sparingly. And the reason for that, because, we know the reason for that from the very beginning of the books, because he was an alcoholic, drunk, and almost drank himself to death, and ruined his life with it, and that's part of his character arc of turning around and staying away from it, and not turning to the drink or whatever. But and so it's very weird for just in passing to mention, oh, Thorne's drinking ale. No, you got to say, because it's part of his character, you have to say, like, if you're going to say he's drinking ale, you have to say it's really watered down and he's only having like a glass of it or something. For other characters, that might seem weird and random, but for Thorne's character, you need to do that. So, I don't know, I still got to read the rest of the book. But so far I'm a little confused. So I'll let you know what I think when I've read more of the book.
It is really late and I should probably be asleep, but instead I decided to record this really quick. At least I hope it'll be really quick. This is a continuation of my BROTHERBAND 9? Yeah, BROTHERBAND 9 Stern Chase review. Talk about, I don't know if it's technically a review or not, just me yammering about it. I finished the book, and it wasn't incredible. It wasn't bad. It was kind of just, well, there's more stuff about the Heron Brother Band. And continuing off of what I said before, the whole Lydia-Ingvar relationship, it seems very forced. Very forced. I don't know why or anything. I'm still curious of why the author chose to go the way he did. And then, spoilers again. Though I said spoilers earlier, but more spoilers. The wedding doesn't even happen in the book. You get a little, like, pre-party or whatever, where it's like, hey, they're getting married, we're excited, yay. Which I actually thought was the wedding party. I was like, oh, they got married, this is the wedding party, whatever. And then it was like, oh no, that was actually just like the pre-party, they haven't even gotten married yet. And so I expected the end of the book to be, oh, they get married. Nope. Doesn't happen. And there's just a couple little things throughout it that just kind of irked me this way or the other. But like the overall story of Iberian pirates sack, or kind of sack, Hollisholm Harbor and steal Wolfwind, and then go do raiding and commit acts of piracy with a wolf ship to convince people that the Scandians are raiding again instead of protecting the seas. Which part of me, like, I understood the plan. Like, hey, let's steal their ship, go on this raiding spree, and so people are like, man, Scandians be raiding again, or something like that. But there's here's a couple thoughts going through my head. One, in a lot of the books, it describes like the Scandians. Scandians have a distinctive build about them. For the most part, they're big and burly. There are some exceptions, but that's the main thing. Like, and it's it's a Scandian, and maybe I should have just gone to bed. But also they've wrecked all the other ships apparently, and so this idea that by taking one ship around, we're going to convince everybody that the entire Scandian nation is now raiding again. That didn't make sense to me. Yeah, you could probably convince some people, but there's probably a bunch of ships out and about doing what they're being paid to do, protecting traders and patrolling the waters and being duty ships here and there. And so when word reaches, like, hey, Scandians are raiding again or whatever, from this one ship that people have run across or whatever, the people there are going to be like, well, this Scandian ship has just been, like, saving us over and over again, so we're confused. And I'm not thinking straight, because it's late. Actually, you know what? I'm actually thinking pretty well right now. My speaking ability has dropped significantly. I'll just put it this way. Brother Band, the first 4 or 5 are really good. The first 3 are incredible. 4 and 5 are good. And then after that, the books kind of taper off. This one really just felt like, oh, there's another book. Didn't add anything. Kind of detracted a little bit. And it's just there. Which makes me think about a lot of the new Disney Plus shows and stuff, which it made me really sad. I made that connection in my head while I was reading the book. Because I like Brother Band. I like the Brother Band. I really like Rangers. I really like the 11 Rangers books. I will reread those and have reread those over and over again. I've reread the first 4 or 5 Brother Band over and over again. It's the other ones I hem and haw about. So I think I'd rate this like a 4 out of 10 or something. 5 out of 10. Get it on sale. That if you want to read it, I'd get it on sale. It makes me sad to be saying that because I like the other one. I like a lot of the other books, but this one was this one was short of the mark. But yeah, we'll call it there.